Amarius Mims has announced his top 6 ahead of his August 15th announcement, and we have to talk about what that means after the bumper.
Don't be cornering me. Hold up. Time. You gotta help me with that corner shit.
What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. It's always college football related, sports related. We have a good time. And today, Amarius Mims, who is the number 2 rated offensive tackle in the 247 Sports Composite and a top 10 recruit, announced his top 6 ahead of his decision day, which is August 15th. And in that 6, we're really talking about Georgia, right? But we'll mention the others here. Okay, Alabama, Florida, Alabama, Florida State, not Florida, Oklahoma, Tennessee, and Auburn. There are 7 crystal balls in for Amarius Mims. There have been about 7 crystal balls in for Amarius Mims for about 2 months. All of them stay Georgia. The kiddo is from Georgia. He is 6'7". He is 315 pounds. It's him and J.C. Latham at the top when we're talking about offensive tackle recruiting. And I get everybody wants to have a moment, and I want you to have that moment, but when you feel like a Georgia lean from jump, it's really hard to argue with you flipping on that. Now, it's possible. Heck, we all thought that Raheem Jarrett was destined for LSU, and then he flipped the script, went to Maryland with Mike Locksley. But knowing what Georgia does offensively, knowing what the running back group is going to look like for the next couple of years, knowing that Kirby Smart wants to run the damn ball and that they have hats that say just that, spelling it B-A-W-L, I think that Amarius Mims wants to stay home. I can't imagine why Oklahoma was able to get on this list, but I'm happy about it. Like, that's cool. Sometimes I think that this stuff is a flex because Oklahoma's offense has been so good over the past 5 years since Lincoln Riley has been play caller that it's a nice feather in the cap. But making a top 5 or top 6 is not winning the commitment. And from what it looks like here, we're talking about perhaps a formality at some point. I'm not going to be the person to tell you that he can't go to Florida State or Tennessee or Auburn. But if we were taking bets, I'll bet most of y'all would put it down on Georgia as well. Oklahoma can produce, though, right? We know that Bill Bedenbaugh has put offensive linemen into the draft, and they all end up doing well. From Orlando Brown to Ben Powers to Drew Samia. I mean, we keep going here, right? But that's kind of the point. The point is, as much as I want Bill Bedenbaugh to have 5-star talent, and he should, we're talking about in-state kiddos that get close to that. Like, Andrew Rank just missed 5-star status and is the most talented offensive lineman to come out of Oklahoma since Bray Walker came out of Westmore in 2018, 5-star offensive tackle that played a little bit of guard last year. Really, Bray Walker can do whatever he wants because he's just that talented. And it'd be great to know that now that Sam Pittman is a head coach at Arkansas, that you can go and beat Georgia for the same kinds of offensive lineman talents that you would want. But that ain't been the way of it, right? Because Kirby Smart responds by losing a great recruiter and great offensive line coach, Sam Pittman, to a better job by hiring a former head coach to be his offensive line coach at an SEC school. Okay? Like, Matt Luke probably going to get this W, just like the Broderick thing. So let's get into the analysis of who Amarius Mims is. And I like the comp here. 247 evaluation has him as like a Jackson Jacksonville's offensive tackle, Cam Robinson, right? Who was a 3-year starter at Tuscaloosa. And people at Alabama will tell you, that dude was the dude. To which the Alabama argument is, yo, if you want to be most like Cam Robinson, why don't you go to the school where Cam Robinson went to school and play for the dude that Cam Robinson played for, Nick Saban. All right. Possesses an elite combination of size and length for an offensive tackle, has rare length by way of long arms and big hands, along with a sturdy build with room to add some muscle to his frame. On the hoof, looks as good as you could hope for at this stage for an offensive tackle prospect. Already is over 300 pounds without much bad weight. Shows his athletic ability while playing both ways at offensive tackle and defensive end. Moves well at the second level. Uses quick feet and his length to get his hands on linebackers, shows good flexibility and bend at the knees, has some pop in his hands, and easily plants opposing defensive linemen on contact. Will need to continue getting stronger and refining his pass set technique. Looks to have a very high upside early on and should develop into a top national prospect. Has the ultimate upside of developing into a multi-year starter at the Power 5 level, an eventual high NFL draft pick. That's Charles Power, who pretty well understands how to evaluate talent, like one of the best evaluators that 247 possesses, quite honestly. And he'd be joining a couple of other Georgia products that have already committed on the offensive line. One being out of Kingsland, that'd be Micah Morris, who was the first offensive lineman to pull the trigger in that class, and another being Dylan Fairchild, who ranks just inside the top 150 when we're talking about overall recruits. It's an elite class that Kirby Smart is putting together, and you look at the 2 of the last 3 years, his team has finished atop the recruiting rankings, and pound for pound, they're punching with Ohio State. They're punching with Clemson. Kirby Smart is slowly building the kind of recruiting monster that is not just rivaling Alabama, it is doing better than Alabama. And now we are seeing the pupil become the teacher. And I'm excited about that because it's a nice little war that they got going on in the recruiting for Georgia and Alabama. But yeah, this one feels like it's going to go to Georgia unless we see some drastic movement here. And maybe Bill Bedenbaugh sees this as an opportunity to go in and try to close. But that remains to be seen. Final note there that I'd like to underscore is Andrew Thomas is really good at Georgia. And you keep going backward like Isaiah Wynn. You keep going back. You'll keep finding good offensive linemen to come out of Georgia being Sam Pittman's kids. That's going to be what's going to be interesting about this season. If Matt Luke can actually put another top talent in position, not necessarily this next year, but in position to be drafted in the first round, then you get to say it's the same as it's always going to be. All right, it for me. Deuces.